And you are now live.
Thank you, Aisha. So welcome everyone to this evening's FBS chat. We have the lovely Paut with us from the Netherlands, who I've met a few times before, Paut. But this is a really nice opportunity for me to get to know you a little bit better, because I know you're wonderful anyway. And Wendy is joining us from Belgium, who we've spoken to before. Wendy's my co-host. Thank you, Wendy, for spending this time with us. So Paut, I always ask how people first came across the solution-focused approach and how really it changed the way they worked. So how did you come across it in the first place?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. That's really nice. And we had made an appointment about 5-6 months ago, but that was a rotten time for me. So I'm glad we got to reschedule. I'll never forget how I came to the solution-focused approach. I know the exact time, date, and place.
Wow.
It was October 2008. And at the time, I was the regional manager for a fairly newly formed organization of kind of specialized social work. We had an assignment by the government saying, okay, people, stop pampering all these people with disabilities and start supporting them, helping them to lead their independent lives in society, which was a big task. And we loved it, and we had a go. We'd been at it for a few years back then. Well, of course, but with these things, they will give you this task, but they will never tell you how. And nobody knew how. So we were muddling along as best we could. And then this evening, and I think it was only a few hours before that one of my team came into my office saying, oh, there's this kind of interesting lecture this evening that I'm going to. Would you like to come along? I said, well, what's it about, and where is it? Well, it was in a hotel not too far from here. And she said, yeah, the new doctor who is involved with the Child Protection Service is trying to introduce some new thinking, and he wants as many people to know about it as possible. So he'd be very happy for you to come along. Because I said, can I just hop in? Yeah, please. He said, fine. And it's a lady from England. She said, and I said, I love people from England, so I'm coming. So we went together, and that was Vivian Hogg from Gateshead up in the north. And I learned later that she did a lot of work together with John Wheeler at the time, who, of course, you know, Viv was head of a social work department in Gateshead. And she started talking. And I started taking notes. I even remember where I sat. It was that big of an impression it made. I started taking notes, and it must have been within 10 minutes or so that I kind of went, this is what we've been looking for. Wow. This describes what we want to do, what we want to be, how we want to work with people. And it has a name, and it seems to have kind of a structure. And I was just blown away. And what Vivian presented there was what she and John had called the signs of well-being model. And I learned much, much later that it was a kind of a contest or something by the NHS to write a module, a way of reporting that would be that you could use through different agencies. So not just in hospitals, not just in social work, but also in a GP practice, in childcare, in wherever. And the two of them sat down thinking, hey, we could do something with this. And what they did is they took the signs of safety framework, which I presume you two at least are well aware of. Are you, Wendy?
Heard of. Yeah, not familiar with, heard of. Yeah.
Okay. And they kind of simplified the reporting form and said you can use this thinking and this way of taking notes just as well in any type of issue that has to do with people's well-being than as you can with safety. And that was exactly what we needed. Wow. So that was brilliant. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
And I went up to this doctor in the break, and to get acquainted. And he was very enthusiastic, and he said how he wanted to spread this and get more people in to speak. And I said, I'm very, very interested, but I'd have to introduce it to my team to see if they think it's any good, because I'm not from the field, as it were. They know what the real work is. So, do you know anybody who could deliver a training or something? Yeah, I know someone. I said, is he any good? Yeah, he's pretty good. So he did some introductions. And later on, this trainer, who is now a really wonderful colleague of mine, he later confessed that was the actual first training he did on the subject, and that he was nervous as hell. So yeah, it's a bit of a story, but it really changed so much. Yeah.
Wow. And do you remember what exactly it was that touched you so much? Was it the whole, or were it specific things? What exactly was it that blew you away?
It was the fact that instead of starting to analyze the problem that someone came with, she would start asking questions like, how have you dealt with anything like this before? Mm-hmm. Or who in your circle knows you well, and what kind of advice would they have? All kinds of questions like that. That were just so opposite the whole medical model that was used in social work as well. That's where we came from. And it was that blew me away. And she did it in a beautiful way, because she asked the audience, I've used this exercise a lot since with groups. She asked the audience to think of someone in your own surroundings, could be a neighbor, could be a nephew, could be, who has some kind of a problem that is niggling you, not something too severe, but just a little something. And to think about that person, and then answer some questions that she would ask, and write down in those 3 columns what your answer was. And you could just feel your thinking shifting as you were answering these questions, and coming to the conclusion that the next step was something that had nothing to do with the problem at all. And yeah, it was that blew me away.
Wow.
That with a few simple questions, you could come up with something that was reachable, easy to do, came out of the person themselves, and was so simple and so down to earth, daily life stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So a colleague came up to you and said, look, there's this lecture tonight about new thinking, but you didn't know what that was. It was just new thinking. You didn't know what it was called then, or so you went along anyway. So you've been given this brief to kind of help. It sounded like, from what you were saying before, not to wrap people in cotton wool and remind them of what they can't do, but remind them that there's things they can do. So having sat there, you must have thought, wow, this is going to really fit well. Why did you know that this was the way to go? Because obviously it was for you, it was a new way of working, but somehow you knew that this was going to be right.
Yes. And very nice question. It fitted the brief, like you say, and B, I could immediately see that the people who were successful in our team in working around these issues kind of did that. They went down to the mundane. They worked with the families, with friends around the people, and they never came up with complicated schemes. It was very down to earth. And mind you, they were looked down upon by the people who really came from this medical viewpoint, thinking that can't be help. But I had already noticed in the few years that we were doing this, that seemed to be the most successful. But we have had no way of selling it because it seemed too mundane, too simple. And I just thought, right, this somehow seems to have some reasoning behind it. There must be theories. There must be books. I can now sell this to people, and we can investigate it and give it a name and a structure and a thinking to underpin, as it were, what successful practice was, and build from there. Because there was recognition, of good practice. That was, yeah.
Mhm.
Do you do you remember your first meeting where you had to sell this approach? How?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, again, brilliant question. The first was with my own team. And of course, I had this colleague with me, and we drove back together and chatting away about it. And she was as enthusiastic as I was. And so we said, we have to get them along somehow. How shall we do this? So we kind of came up with a plan. So I think it was in our team meeting a couple of days later that we told about where we've been and how we enjoyed it, and did it, and asking them questions. Does this sound interesting at all? Could that be worthwhile? Yeah, it might be. And what did you have in mind? And said, well, I was thinking maybe we could get a trainer in for a few days or a few half days and just see if we like it and take it from there. So that was the first sell. Yeah. Yeah. And they agreed to that. So that's what we did. Mm-hmm.
And did they have the same wow feeling after you started having this training?
Most of them did. What we did was we asked people who would be interested. I did not say, I need you all 35 of you to come. No, I just, I asked this trainer what would be a good group size, and he said, well, ideally around 12. So I said, right, people, there's 12 places. Who wants them?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I later learned that is one of the success factors in implementing a solution-focused culture, or any culture really, just to start with the people who are interested and who are ready to look into this and see, hey, what's in it for me? What can I do with this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, so I did shock them, by the way, because what they hadn't expected was that I sat in on the training. And they had never had a manager sit in on a training with them.
Oh.
And said, what are you doing here? I said, well, if you happen to think this is interesting and you want to do something with it, I need to get you the money and the resources so that we can do this. So I'd better know what this is about. Okay, they were a little bit suspicious. But of course, Wim, he's an amazing trainer. He just gets the whole group along, and he will start out with lines. It doesn't matter who's here, what rank you have, what position you have. That's not what this is about. So we very quickly went underway. Yeah. Yeah, that was big. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So that those 12 initial trainees obviously went back to work with the other. You said it was a group of 35.
Yeah, I had a team of 35.
So what were the rest of the group's observations of these 12 that suddenly came back with this new enthusiasm or new ideas?
It's a while back, Joe, and a lot has happened since, but from what I seem to remember is that most of them would kind of sit on the fence, as it were, looking, okay, let's see what comes of this. Yeah. And not too long after that, I left that organization, so I didn't get the rest of it. I know that they did pursue it after that, but we did some lovely experiments in the time that I was still there. Yeah.
And so you knew back then already that even after, when you leave the organization, this is what you would want to continue, the solution focus.
Oh yeah, that was the reason I left.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. It was at a stage that I was thinking of, okay, what'll be my next step? And after having discovered this, I knew that I wanted to know all there was to know about it. Little did I know that I would still be studying and never stop, but never mind. Because, of course, underneath signs of safety and signs of well-being is solution focus. And I quickly discovered that that was what I wanted to know so much more about. And at the time, I was involved in a lot of regional and some national projects about changes that were happening in the whole social domain, as it were. And I saw so many opportunities for this thinking, because a lot needed to happen, a lot of very good ideas about people giving people more agency. But nobody knew how. And I could just sit there thinking, I I now know how. I want to tell the world. So yeah, that was my reason for leaving.
Yeah.
And setting that up, starting as an independent, whatnot, and just see where it could take me. Yeah.
Which, I mean, there must have been some risk involved in that, Paut, because you know, you had quite a responsible position of 35 members of staff, and then you decided that. What was it about you moving independently that just fitted, that you thought, this, I have to go this way? Because I don't know, what was the reasoning behind leaving something that I guess was secure at the time?
Just a very strong sense of, I want to run with these ideas, and I want nobody stopping me. Because whenever you're part of a larger organization, there's always things that you need to abide to, or whole management teams that need to come along, and it's a long, slow process, and things were moving quickly at that time. So it really felt like the time is now. And I just knew that I would be able to do that. I've always been involved in lots of different projects besides my work anyway. So I had quite a large network, not just regionally, but nationally as well. And I thought, I can't believe that this will not lead me to anything. And if not, can always take another job. Yeah, I kind of did the sums and gave myself a year or something, thinking, okay, I can do that. I can go without holidays and fancy stuff for a year and see where it takes me. But yeah, I've never had to look back.
It's because me and Aisha, we're really fortunate in that if we feel there's a need for something or something needs to change, we can have a chat, and half an hour later we can start doing something about it.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's absolutely breaks off all the shackles. You feel free. It must have been really exciting times.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then what I'm curious about is because you jumped into being self-employed, and you knew that you would bring solution focus into the world. What did you define, or do you define as your, let's call it a solution focused identity? What difference did you want to make?
Ooh. There's a lot of questions in that. What difference did I want to make? Well, I think through everything that I've always done in my working life, and I hope privately as well, it's always involved working with people, and I've always strived to respect people in their beliefs, in their ideas. And I think that was, for me, was one of the biggies in solution focus as well. It is so respectful, ultimately respectful. And I guess that's what I wanted to bring.
Wow.
I mean, I started out in the dark ages as a physiotherapist, which of course is a very medical profession. So I'm well trained in this whole analytical thing and then coming up with a treatment plan. But I remember having big discussions with other students and with colleagues whenever they would belittle someone that was complaining of pain or something, saying, oh, this is aching and it hurts. That can't hurt. It's just not possible. That would make me really mad. Thinking, if that person is saying they're hurting, you'd better take them seriously and work with that. And not say, I've examined you, there is no way this can hurt so much. That would drive me up the wall. So it's notions like that I seem to recognize in solution focus as being the ultimate respectful way of working with people, non-judgmental, and working what they're bringing to the table, and not following your own agenda. Yeah.
So, what was your first? So you've broken free of those shackles, and now you're out there.
Oh no, I wouldn't call them shackles. It was just the next step. It was a lovely place to work.
Yeah, and you're out on your own. When you went out on your own, what was your aim? Was it to train social workers? Was it to have a company that went in and to support social work? What was what were you aiming for when you went out on your own?
I didn't know then, and I don't know now, Joe. In that sense, I'm very much an opportunist. That has a sort of dodgy sound to it, but I like to see chances, angles, and just go for it. Wow. And back then, it was another change in the law in a social domain, but that had much more to do with local authorities being responsible for care in the home, for support with wheelchairs, parking permits, stuff like that. That was one of the big issues at that time. And I had some contacts in local authorities that I managed to convince them that this was a good idea. And well, long story, but I got to speak at some national conventions for the people in charge in local authorities, and just present this in workshops. And a few of them were curious and came up to me saying, yeah, we're looking for something like that to change our way of working, and this sounds interesting. Will you come and talk? So that really was my first big thing. So it's not no social work necessarily. I've been working in education, in healthcare, in local authorities a lot, in manufacturing organizations. I mean, doesn't really matter. Wow. Yeah. I've never confided myself to one field. The one field I've never worked in is physical therapy, which is really interesting because I could. Somehow that angle got lost somewhere along the way.
So, why is it so transferable, Paut? Because we know the history of this approach. It was in family therapy. What is it? What do you feel that makes this thing? Of course, you've said it's in social care. You've been into companies.
Oh yeah.
What is that special element that just makes it so universal?
It's I have my husband to thank for this term. He was a scientist, and one evening when he often came with me to conferences and things, and one evening where we were chatting away into the small hours of the night, he sat back listening and at some point said, "This really is a generic model." That's a beautiful word. Tell me more. Mm-hmm. And what he meant was it's a model that is a structure in itself, with beliefs and with ideas, but that you can apply to almost anything. Yeah. And that's what it is. I've always really enjoyed seeing the threads in the solution-focused approach. It doesn't have anything to do with social work or organizational work, it's a belief system. It's a way of thinking, and there's all kinds of models and structures, whether it's 3 columns, where it's the Hayson's brilliant quadrant, whether it's Elliott's diamond model, as he's calling it now, doesn't matter. It's the underlying belief system and the structure that you work from what somebody wants to aspire to and what difference that will make, and then exploring everything and anything in between. And you can do that anywhere. And I find that the beauty of it. It's I wouldn't want to confide myself to just one field, because I think you learn from other fields as well. It's really enriching to see how it's applied in a very different setting, and you take that with you if you're training or working with a team in a totally different setting. Yeah.
I love that description. So I think when new people to the approach, maybe when they're first trained in it, it's almost like, oh, it's a list of questions, and I've got to kind of,
Oh, yeah.
get through these questions. And if I don't, I haven't really done a good job. And it's only because this kind of way of working, it's just practice, practice, practice. And even then, you're never fully the finished article. You're always learning. You're always moving forward. And yeah, you're right. I think it is that deep respect for the person in front of you, not only that they know what they want, but almost that they know how to get there.
Exactly.
And it's remembering, I think, as you get more practice in it, because at the beginning, it was like, all right, I've got to ask this question. That if the client veered off, I was kind of lost. But if you, like you say, if you remember those assumptions, that philosophy, always keeps you almost safe in the knowledge that at some point you're going to get back on track, or the client is going to lead you to wherever they lead you. Because and I don't think I could ever go back to the way I was before. I don't know about you and Wendy, but I can't.
Oh,
It's just
no.
Impossible.
no.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've when you do trainings,
Mhm.
and you do quite a bit of training, is that right?
I do quite a bit of training. There's a lot of demand for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it mainly in the Netherlands? Do you travel around? Have you noticed any differences when you go to different places?
The Netherlands and Flanders. I've worked a lot in Belgium, which is lovely. And there's even though it's only a few miles in between, there's a fairly big cultural difference.
Yes, indeed.
But but again, the model, the thinking helps you, because that's universal. It doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
And because you're constantly in service of the people that you're working with, it's just I always love that. You can just sit there with big eyes thinking, okay, bring it on. I'm just very curious. And so physically mostly in the Netherlands and Belgium, and online I've been doing quite a lot of international work over the years. And yeah, that's a lot of fun.
And what are next steps now? Like hopes that you have, what dreams that you have, and things you want to do?
Again, being the omnivore that I am, that's always a tough one that I don't really want to decide on even. But before my personal life kind of crumbled a year and a half ago, I was already thinking, okay, this next stretch until we really start slowing down a bit and enjoying life on a slower pace, what do I want to do in that period? And of course, that's been put on hold a bit, and I'm picking up on that now. And the only thing that keeps coming up is that I'm happy if I can make a little bit of difference in somebody's life. And it doesn't really matter where or with who. Or, I mean, the other day I had a wonderful conversation with a principal of a school with 1,000 staff who want to become more solution focused. Yeah, unbelievable. And that's young people learning a trade in that school, and that's amazing to work with. But it's just as amazing to work with a big healthcare organization that is slowly becoming aware of the fact that they won't have the staff that they will with the aging population and everything. And how are we going to change? I don't really mind.
Wow.
I do know that from now on, and you're so fortunate in this work, because it's wonderful work, and you very rarely have to do something that you don't like. But I'm even more determined to pick out the little gems that I think, ooh, how nice that I can get to go there. And and doing a little less training, because that is time consuming. And it just takes you it's long days. But set it up and then let other people get other people in to deliver the training, and maybe do a few workshops here and there, and being more more on the organizational side of things. Big structural changes, go back to that. Yeah.
When I listen to you and the things you have, the different things you have already been doing, and the things you want to do, and how you switch and how you trust, and I think, whoa, you have so much courage and trust that things will come your way, and that things will work out, and that you see opportunities and you jump on them. Where do you get that courage from? It's so amazing that, like, wow, she dares to jump.
Maybe because I banged my head often enough. And then you learn, you recover from that as well. I wouldn't know, Wendy. It's having discovered over the years that when you truly, truly believe in something, that will come across one way or the other. And in the meantime, I'm just as happy to clean windows or do other stuff. I mean, that's fine if I can just do that for little bits. And it's always been like that. And I'm just nosy. I see stuff and I go up to people and ask them what it's about, and and one thing leads to another, and that's how I always moved on from one field to the next. Yeah.
Wow.
Do any of the organisations or training that you've done, because I know over the years, obviously working with a lot of families, that there are moments that seem to be just ingrained, that were wonderful moments. Is there any that stick out for you in any of your training or organisations that you've worked with?
Yeah. Oh.
It was the year she met us, Joe.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to say, but I'm guessing that's what
It's
it was.
when she met us. It's when you met us at Brief Summer School. That's when it was.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I can tell you that's when it was.
That was definitely it. Yeah, what's an interesting one to pick? Yeah. Well, one of these local governments that got hooked early on. It's fascinating. I've been working with them for 10 years now, and it started out with a small pilot team of, again, people who were interested in looking into a new approach to their work. So we did a training with just 6 people, which is, in the strict sense, is too little, but I said, hey, that's what they want, so let's give it a go. And we developed it from there, and I introduced that 3-column format, and they used that for taking notes when they did home visits with people. Okay. And they took their notes and with the people there and showed it to them. Is this what you meant? And we talked a lot about how it's helpful that you use their exact words on the form instead of translating it to the more formal civil servant language. And what was fascinating was that 3 months later, I came there and they said, we're getting complaints. I said, what? Yes, from our legal department, that they're out of work because there are no complaints from customers anymore. So they put me on, oh my, I was sweating.
Oh, no.
But that was a spectacular effect. They had a whole department that had to deal with members of the public saying, this is not what I meant, and you've made the wrong decision. And somehow, within 3 months, with this small group of people, that went out the window.
Wow.
And it is still like that to this day. As more and more people in that organization started to adopt the solution-focused approach and all kinds of different fields. And I'm now starting a big project with the whole other side of their organization that is to do with parks and with planning and roads and what have you, because they want to talk with the public more and get them involved in their plans. And they were looking to these people on the social side of things saying, you can do something that we'd like to know. And they said, We know who you need to bring in. And that is so funny. You sit there with people who are doing urban planning, and I have no clue what their field is about, which again is a brilliant position to be in, the not knowing position. I love that.
So much.
Tell me, that sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
The stories you get. But I think that was a light bulb moment, because that was an effect that we had never expected, never thought of even. It was a side effect. But how wonderful is that for a local authority to be able to say, we have almost 0 complaints?
Wow.
And that's really good. And at the moment, I'm in the final stages of doing a training series with that whole legal department there. And they said the same thing. They said, yeah, we're not getting anything from that side of the organization. It's the other side, and you haven't started there yet. So in a few years' time, we'll be out of a job. They can laugh about it because there's always work for them to do.
It reminded me of a case that a single session that I conducted a few months ago. And I did the whole session with the family completely silent. And I asked, what your best type, because there were so many of them.
Yes.
And I didn't want to exclude anyone. So, answer the question and then nod. Anyway, we did it. 4 weeks later, we had a follow-up meeting to see how it went. And I said, where's your husband? She went, well, my best hope was to give him the boot. Was to get rid of it.
Wow.
So she had met her best hope. Her best hope was to get rid of him. And so she did. And all of that in a silent session.
Wow.
I had no idea what it was.
No, that is amazing.
Oh, but I didn't know whether to laugh or look shocked. Or I was like, oh, okay, all right. And what difference has that made? What else?
Oh.
It was amazing.
Oh, that does remind me of another occasion that I thought, oh, this is amazing. I sometimes do couples work with the people that are I call my colleagues. They work with families, so I sit in with them in their intervisions and things, and they will sometimes get me in to have a talk with a parent couple about their relationship and stuff. I trained with Elliot for that, and I find it fascinating. And there was this one couple that they had a lot of problems, and their children were supervised by child protection and everything. And so we had a few amazing talks, and then I think it was the 4th time that we met or something that they came in laughing and chatting and said, well, actually, we didn't need to come tonight. I said, oh, and so why are you here then? Because we were on that kind of terms by that time. And said, well, we wanted to tell you how we deal with things now, because that's just too much fun. Tell me. And then they told this story that, and the fascinating thing about those conversations was that every time they came, the subject was a completely different subject. One time it would be about the mother-in-law, how to deal with that. The other time it would be about the redecoration of the living room. And the third time it would be about their eldest child and how she was coping with school. So that always made me laugh anyway. And then Al told me that what happened in their house was that whenever something was starting to bug them and they were starting to quarrel, they looked at each other and said, we'll bring that to Paut next time. I said, and what happens then? Because I haven't heard you say anything about this. No, it resolves itself. Somehow it's gone by the time we have the next appointment.
It's a bit like
so funny.
Bit like Insu. We'll come back to that. It never does.
Exactly. Yeah. They had me in stitches all the time. Yeah. And I learned later that their children were no longer under care and stuff, so they were really doing well. And she had stopped her treatment at the psychiatric hospital because they said there that she was doing ever so well. And it was just 3 or 4 conversations. It's so amazing. And again, that just shows it's all there.
Yes.
it's all there. There's no way that we can add anything in 3 conversations that changes somebody's life. That's a notion that we have got rid of. Because how can it be successful if it was not already there? Everything of it. And I love that.
That is
Oh,
brilliant.
that's brilliant.
Aw,
Yeah.
we love
And
Paut.
we love Paut because do you know what?
I love you.
Paut, you talk with as much passion, whether it's a local authority, whether it's a big company, or whether it's a couple. It seems to bring you just as much joy.
It does. That's why I can't choose. I can't make plans. Life is just what happens while you're making other plans, something like that. Same as with work. Yeah.
And earlier I think you were talking about this other department that you work in. Did you say it was in parks and in the community, recreation and stuff?
Yeah.
So
they do the whole physical side of things. They build sewers and.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Have you? Because maybe we can pick your brains. I don't know, but have you involved a community, brought a community together to talk about what their hopes are for their area, for their street? Yeah. How did that go? Tell us. Give us some insight.
That's what they have to do when they're a bit. They do it, but they wanted some tips and tricks, and it's interesting. It's much the same as I would lead a family group conference or something. Much the same. And there's all kinds of ideas that you can apply in dealing with a large group, and even the simplest idea of announcing at the beginning that I'm going to ask each question I will ask of each and every one of you. It's something as simple as that. And to take notes on big flip charts for everyone to see and use their language and all kinds of very simple things. Yeah.
Making them all feel part of the process, which is really important.
Definitely. And as Rob, you know Rob, don't you, Aisha?
Oh, I'm waiting for our date at the pub.
Rob is the one who will forever say that people need to be seen, heard, and taken seriously. That's the key element of success in any work that you do with people. And Hasten, bless her. And that's what that does. Make everybody make sure that they're seen, heard, and taken seriously. And then you can play around with so many different formats to do that. But the basis is always these premises. And again, start with best hopes and differences, and then from various angles, and work your way from there. I love when they ask me to do evenings like that. That's wonderful. But the last couple of years I'm more involved with helping others to lead those kinds of meetings, because that's more worthwhile. I can do one, between them they can do 100. So
And also Intervision, Paut, is that still something you do a lot? Because you used to do a lot of that, and you still do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And that is one thing that I'm trying to work on, is to spread that concept into other areas, because that traditionally very much comes from the social work field. I didn't know it before I came into this organization where a lot of social workers worked. And solution-focused intervision is actually a heap of all kinds of ways of discussing your issues with each other. To transfer that concept into other organizations as a set of ways to conduct meetings, to do planning, to brainstorm, but also what it also does is it sets a solution-focused culture, because you encourage people to ask each other solution-focused questions, to tell what they appreciate about what the other has done, and then to give advice and ideas, but in a very light-hearted way, with no obligation for the other person to use their ideas. So get away from the you should do this, that. No, it's just, I have a thought. Could it be interesting? And if you don't use it, fine. So that culture, it establishes a more solution-focused culture if you do your regular meetings in a way like that. And a very interesting side effect is that the team members get to know each other's qualities very quickly. Because from the questions that your team member asks or the ideas that they bring to the table, you think next time in between meetings, I'm struggling with this. I know who to go to now. So it's an extremely good way of getting a team to work together. And so yeah, I'm trying to bring this concept into other types of organizations more and more. Yeah.
Wow. Great initiative.
Yeah, because well, I don't have to tell you, but working in a solution-focused way with your team members is so much nicer than all this, oh, what's she doing? And I don't know about this and I'm scared to say. No, establish a culture where you no longer have to be afraid to say, I don't know how to do this. Because you can come to the table with, I have a question about this or that. I have no clue what my next step will be. And know that you will be met with people who will start asking you solution-focused questions. Things like, tell me 7 things you've done already that were successful. Okay. And that's a very different. And if you can establish that, then that must up the level of the output. And it does. Yeah, I mean, when I became part of Vraagkracht, which is the group that does this family work and has a few trainers, I'm not into family work myself, but I hate to miss one of the weekly Intervision meetings because it is so inspirational. And because it is solution focus is a generic model, I learned so much from what we discussed there that I can take into very different situations and vice versa. When they come up with a problem that they're encountering in their work with a family, I sometimes have just encountered something with a team or with a general manager that might give them an idea of where to go next. So it's, moving more and more away from the idea that it need to be people in the same kind of role or same field. There's no need for that. No.
So for a lot of people listening that may not be solution focused, what is Intervision? How would you sum it up? What does it do?
I'd never realized that the term was something that we kind of only know in the Dutch and German speaking countries. There it's an established concept, has been for quite a few years. And when I started discussing this with people at international conferences, oh, you mean supervision? Peer group supervision? And yeah, kind of, but not quite. Because what I love about the term, and that's why I just started using it in English as well, for lack of a better word, is the word inter, which means in between, which of course is what we do in solution focus, instead of the super, which is from above. And that kind of implies that there is somebody who knows how it should be done. No, what you want in Intervision is that within that team, you probably have all the resources that can help you with your next step. So it's that concept. So it's not a supervision kind of thing. It's a way of bringing your daily work questions to a group of people.
And success stories.
Oh yeah, Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And,
that is always a big part.
and which are equally as important as the challenges that we are facing, because the answers are in the success stories.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. The thing is, when you want to sell this to an organization that is not yet solution focused, it's a very good selling point to say people can bring their problems to the table. What little do they know that a big part of the whole process is that you start sharing successes around that.
Yeah.
We'll tell them later.
Yeah.
They will find out.
Once they've seen what it does, I will tell them, actually.
It's one thing I forgot to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously, I find that the most challenging thing going into organizations that are not yet solution focused to make them feel what this is about. So sometimes it helps that you would say, okay, just anything that they run into, they can bring that. And, that just helps. And at some point they get it.
And it's kind of bring the challenges to the table, and let's spend 20% of the time discussing that, but 80% looking at how we're going to overcome it.
Yeah. And once you get it rolling and people get used to it, it's not even 5%.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you challenge them by saying, okay, if you were to phrase your question starting with how can I, and then you're already moving away from the problem. And sometimes you need a little bit of context, but the more context you get, the more the rest of the group will dive into that context and start all kinds of detailed questions. You don't want that. You don't need it. Groups who start out with this will tend to do that a bit more, which is absolutely logical. And then at some point they will be happy just stating their question and giving no context whatsoever.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Right, last question from Joe, and then or Wendy first, or Joe first, whoever.
Time flies.
I was just. It's not so much. I don't know if it's a question. I'm looking at that Intervision idea. I know you're talking about it, because I was just thinking, Aisha, why if we had like an Intervision meeting open to parent carers in the local community, because they wouldn't have to be from the same company or the same community even.
No, I introduced that idea quite a few years ago now, and since then we've been running monthly Intervisions that are just open to anyone.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and that's beautiful. So it's always you never know who's coming or how many, and parents will come as well. That's beautiful. Yeah,
I think that's what.
God, here we go.
No, I'm just thinking. I don't see why not. I think
because what happens is Joe will say, "Oh yeah, here's the idea," and then it's, "Well, have you done it yet? Have you organised it yet? Have you done it yet? When is it happening?"
Sorry, Aisha.
It's just another thing to do. I completely agree. It's brilliant.
How worthwhile though. I think it would be really, and Paut said how wonderful it is.
So you guys will see something soon now.
Yeah. And it's there's a lot of work being done in the solution focused cafe concept as well. A lot of our colleagues do. That's very comparable, and that's been done with lots of different groups of people. Yeah.
There we go. Solution focused cafe. That sounds even better, because you could just come for a cup of coffee and a chat.
And a Ribena.
Yeah.
And a Ribena. Thank you, Paut.
Yeah, you and your cup of coffee, Joe. Show me what you're drinking. Come on.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you a secret. I don't know if you guys can see it, but in our kitchen here, this is the family-based solutions kitchen. There are two coffee machines. Three? Oh yes, three.
The little espresso maker.
I'm not allowed to touch them.
So they bring you your coffee?
Well, Joe's very particular about coffee. So
You can, Joe. You can change the pads. You do. You needn't change the machine. You can change the pads. You don't have
no.
to.
Oh, bless you. No, there's no pads in this one.
Oh.
It's fresh coffee,
Okay.
and it gets a
Don't
bit
get him
messy.
started on his
Yeah,
coffee.
don't get me
yeah,
started.
I'm telling you. Oh, Wendy, when I kind of put it out there, like, oh, I can smell. Oh, coffee would be nice at some point, and then he'll ignore me. But then maybe the following day say, "Shall I make the coffee? Shall I make coffee? Do you want coffee? Shall I make coffee?" And I
But,
kind of win that way.
We love these chats, and I haven't seen Paut for ages, and I know we've met each other in the summer school, and there's so much that you're doing that I wasn't aware of back then. I knew you were brilliant because you are, but your enthusiasm is just so catching, and thank you so much for spending this time with us. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Lovely. I was
And I
really
want-
looking
and I
forward
want-
to it.
We've been for a meal, I know, but we need to do another when all this nonsense is over. We'll meet up,
Absolutely.
and
Yep.
and I'll have a couple of glasses of Ribena as my dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or they can take the train and come to us. What do you think,
Yeah.
Wendy?
I think that would be lovely. We all
That
just
would be
meet-
amazing.
Great, because we are already trying to see each other again, Paut, since Seoul World Conference 2019, and we don't
a
live
lot
that
has
far
happened
apart from
since.
each other. Yes, indeed. So
Yeah.
we
Well,
have to
and-
make it come true.
Borders were closed. Who could ever have imagined?
Well, Anne Marie Wolf and Hasten Moon are both looking forward to coffee.
Oh, good.
Hasten is just a nice excuse to drink together.
Yes.
What is she drinking? And Anne Marie Wolf would love the coffee chat with you. I think she's talking about me
Lovely.
though, Paut.
Talking about
Definitely.
all of us.
You
Let's
wish.
do
Definitely
that.
about you. Sorry, coffee with things in it, said Hasten.
Yes, coffee with things. Yeah. We've been sampling a few of those in Italy.
Well, when did we actually meet? What year was it? 2011?
No,
No, that can't be.
no. What? When we met Paut?
My first summer
It would have
school
been-
was in 2014.
No.
Yes,
That was
it
my
was.
first. It was. I was in London in 2013, ready to go to summer school, and then my mum had an accident in some godforsaken country, and I had to go and rescue her. So I didn't go. I'll never forget that. I was so disappointed. And so it was 2014.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're
I
right.
don't
You're
know.
right. Yeah, you're right. It was
In
2014.
Westminster, wasn't it, Paut?
I think
The
that was
first
the year
one-
after,
I
because
think we-
I did
That-
1
that's-
year at Brief,
Yeah.
and after that it moved to Westminster.
Yeah.
And was that your first one?
No. 1 year.
Westminster was our first one, and then we went to Covent Garden.
Joseph.
It was Westminster, then Covent Garden. She doesn't know dates, Paut.
No, but she knows
Was
places.
Right. This is how we can work it out. Was it when I was pregnant?
You
Was I
in the
pregnant?
You was in the wheelchair. We went to Westminster.
Was that our first one?
Yes, and then we went to Covent Garden, 7 Dials, the year after. And Paut was there at both.
Were
And it was-
you weren't at a summer school at Brief?
No.
Okay. Then it was 2015, Joe.
Thank you.
That's
That would
already
be
a long
right,
way
yeah.
back. If that was the first one, then it was
Yeah.
2015, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
time flies, doesn't it?
It does.
Really?
We
Yes.
need to get back.
yeah. I know. Wendy.
We'll have to ask Chris next week if they're thinking of doing
Yeah.
another one in London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dying to go.
That'd be brilliant. Wendy,
Yeah.
any last questions?
Any last questions to Paut? The only question that is in my mind that comes up is, I want to see you. When are you coming?
Oh, as soon as it's allowed again.
Really, yes.
As
That's
soon as we're allowed again, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
I think
See
Pat
the
needs to do a
horses. I
tour.
love horses.
Pat needs to do a tour.
Yeah.
You have to do a little tour, European
Oh, yeah.
tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes, please.
and then I'll have to just tag along. with Paut. But it has been an absolute pleasure having you join us tonight, Paut. And we've been trying to organise this and looking forward to this for such a long time.
Yes.
And you are honestly an inspiration. You're one of the main reasons why I adopted the solution focused approach, because I was so inspired when I met you. And I was pregnant, and I'm remembering everything now. And Mia was there. Yeah, everyone was there. And it was just you being you, just so inspirational, very calm, very patient. Very, very patient. Was that the year that Harry Coleman was there?
Yes.
That was the year. Yeah, and I remember after Harry and I were teamed up together to do an activity, which obviously I was pooping myself. And at the time, I didn't even know who Harry was. I just knew that you be good. And I remember talking to Mia and Paut and Co about, oh my God, did I say something wrong? Because he told me off a little bit. But Paut was so lovely, honestly. We bonded straight away. And Joe and I have a lot of respect for Paut and Wendy, who is part of our FBS family now. We absolutely love. We've got so many people part of our FBS. We just adopt anyone that we like.
Yeah.
So, you're part of the family. You don't know it, but you are.
And then a couple of
way
years
from
ago, just before you moved to your current premises, we visited in Enfield, didn't we?
Yes, you did.
That was amazing. So people, let me take this opportunity, sponsor this place, because it's amazing. You have such a nice spot in the community, don't you? And would be so sad if you had to leave. So,
thank you, Paut. That's so
amazing
sweet.
work.
See, this is what I mean about Paut. This is what I'm talking about.
I just came up. I think you just a new word is born, because indeed you say, Aisha, you link Paut with patience, and I think there's a new word. As from now, it's called potions. I think that's a good one.
I would never consider myself a patient person. I don't know where you get this from.
Well, you are patient with me, and that's quite difficult. Very, very rare.
I was in awe of you.
No, very, very rare. Honestly, I totally admire you, and I'm so glad that you've been with us tonight. So we have come to the end. Paut, any last words for Wendy or Joe or anyone before I say au revoir?
No, just grab a train as soon as we can.
Yes, please.
Let's.
Yeah. I'll translate that to Paut saying, Rob, organise something.
Yes.
Rob's going to block me from all social media. He's going to do that. So next week, who do we have next week? So we've already said we've got Chris Iverson on Tuesday with a lovely co-host, and on that's at 8 p.m. next Tuesday, and next Thursday the 18th we have Kirsten Deeroff at 1 p.m. with a lovely. Well, she's got two co-hosts, so that's going to be fun as well next week. So Paut and Wendy, as you both know, stay right there. Don't go anywhere just yet. But to everybody else, good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.